clean it once again, and then it is finally ready to make bread in. Pretty careful stuff. If you just forge ahead, you'll probably be all right. But you have to understand that these things are manufactured in a country where there are not the same regulations that we have here in the United States. So, the manual does not tell you how to open the fruit dispenser. The manual does not tell you how to remove the bread pan. And what the manual also does not tell you is exactly when the fruits or nuts are going to be released into your mixture. Whether it's going to be in the mix phase or it's going to be done as they seem to indicate with one of their pictures, where the seeds have been dumped on top of the bread after it has risen and before baking. I'm going to check into this in our ensuing videos when I actually make a loaf of bread, and I suppose I'm going to have to make some raisin bread, even though I don't really like it. The other thing about the instruction manual that I find interesting for those of us in the United States where we have not yet adopted the metric system is that all of the measurements are in metric. So, of course, most of our measuring containers now all have metric and English on them. And the other thing that they do is they assume that you are going to use these measuring spoons. So they will tell you 2 big spoons or 1 little spoon of a particular item instead of saying teaspoon or tablespoon. I have not evaluated this measuring device yet to see whether it actually does measure in teaspoons and tablespoons. I will let you know later. I never really paid too much attention to the suggested breads in any bread maker pamphlet. Not when we have the whole internet available to us. I usually get my recipes, my basic recipes off of the internet, and then adjust them as I will to suit for whatever kind of breads I like to make. Okay, now moving on. Fit and finish. The stainless that this item is made out of is the old style stainless that shows every single fingerprint, as opposed to what's generally available on the newer refrigerators and dishwashers, where you really have to try to get fingerprints on it. The stainless that is on this machine is also, I would say, roughly of the same dimension for thickness and gauge as what you might find on a $20 toaster, Hamilton Beach type toaster. It is thin. Last night I was moving the machine around and the plug on the end of the cord got caught on something and it hit the lid up in this corner. You can see it left a dent. Maybe you can. Just the plug on the end of the cord hitting the lid from a distance of maybe 2 feet away put a dent in this. So this is going to dent easily. The other thing about it is that on this edge of the lid, you have rather rough corners back on the front and on the back. if you were going to give this a good clean, it would be very easy, I believe, for a cleaning rag to get stuck on these rough edges, possibly snag, possibly bend the lid up, possibly cause you to have a bad day. Better warned than not, I say. As far as these outside corners go, they are very smooth, very well done, top and bottom. But this corner here, this corner here, this corner here, and the one in the back on the lid, those four corners are rough. And I think that if I was to put my finger underneath of there right now, I could bend this lip up with one finger. In my opinion, it's a little shaky. The machine is UL. Important to note that. It does state on the bottom that it conforms to UL standards. A lot of things that we've been getting out of China are not UL. Not that UL means that much, but if your house burns down due to an appliance, started fire, and that appliance is not a UL appliance, your insurance company is most likely going to tell you that you are not covered. I believe that's all I have for you today on the machine and on the instruction manual. The only other thing I could otherwise say about the manual is that these are English words in the manual, but they were not assembled or proofread by anyone with a thorough knowledge of usage. So you may read things and say, that doesn't make any sense. If you're the first time around with a bread maker, and this is going to be your only bread maker, and this is going to be your very first time doing something like this, you may find this frustrating. It depends upon your experience level with Chinese translated instruction manuals. How else can I say it? And they do show sliced bread here. There is no slicer, okay? So just be sure of that. You still have to slice your bread yourself. That's it for today. I thank you very much. The next time we get together, I'm going to mix something up in the machine and let it go. I would like to mention that this machine does give you the ability to delay the start. You could mix up your ingredients. Well, you don't actually, you layer your ingredients in the bread pan the night before, assuming that your bread does not use either milk or eggs, and set it for a delay, and then have it mix up and bake so that you would have hot, fresh bread right out of the baking for breakfast the next morning or for whenever.